Hi again, people. Lovely to be with you. Thanks for joining me. We're talking about wisdom, and one of the tactics that people sometimes use in order to understand a particular word is to find a word that would be considered to be the opposite of that word and use it as a means of comparison to clarify what the original word looks like and means. So if we look at wisdom, I would suggest that possibly the opposite word of a wise person would be a foolish person, a fool. And so we've been using that as a means of comparison the last couple of days to define what wisdom is by looking at what it is not. And so we want to continue this just for a couple more days. I happen to be reading the scriptures and looking at how many references there are to the fool. And there are a number. And one of the first references to a fool, along with a man who has a foolish demeanor and makes a foolish decision, is found in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 25. And it's the story of David. David, great man, great warrior. In the early days of his coming to kingship, he did a foolish thing. But fortunately, somebody stopped him and helped him. Let me tell you what happened. David was mustering a young army together, an army of rejects, people who nobody wanted. And they came to David and said, "So David, can you make of us a great army?" And David said, "Well, the 400 of you are a little bit rumpled, but I can do something with you." And so he made this little army, and he began to protect the farmers in the area of the marauding tribes that there were around them. And they had remarkable success. One of the farmers who was being benefited by this service was a guy named Nabal. And one day, David, who had protected Nabal for many years, went to Nabal and he said, "Nabal, it's time of celebration for my men, and we have done well in protecting you over the course of this period of time. Would you do us a favor and sponsor a party for us? We need some sheep, we need some meat, we need some vegetables, we need some stuff to celebrate this last period of time as we've looked after you." Thinking that Nabal would jump at it and think, "Wow, of course I'll support that. You guys have been awesome and you've protected me and you're great. I'll happily sponsor this little party for you." Anyway, Nabal looked at him with disdain and said, "Get lost. I'm not going to support this thing." That made David angry. He got on his horse with a couple of guys and he rode down towards Nabal's farm. He was going to kill him. And on the way there, he met a woman. She was standing in the middle of the road, and her name was Abigail. And she stopped David, and she gave him some profound advice. Now, Abigail was Nabal's wife, and she could recognize foolishness a mile off. So she stopped David and said, "David, listen, what you're about to do is not the best thing in the world. Do you really want the blood of this man on your hands? You have every right to be angry, but there's a better way of doing this thing. David, turn around and go back, and I will get you the stuff you want for your party." And she gave words of wisdom to David. David showed a discerning spirit, and he responded to what she had to say. And she said, "You know what, you're right. You're right. This would not be the wisest thing to do. This would actually be very foolish to do it." Now, David was really wise in finding out that actually that was a foolish thing. That's what wise people do. They receive advice, and they can stop themselves in their mid-tracks when things are going wrong. And so David turned around back and went back. Abigail made this comment to David. It's intriguing. She said, "David, don't waste your time on Nabal. His name means the fool. He is a fool. He's living up to his name and his reputation. His reputation is linked to his name. His name means fool. David, don't mess with a fool. David, don't waste your time and your energy on a fool. David, go home and let me do what I need to do." And David did that. Now, Nabal's problem was one of ingratitude. Foolish people don't see what people do for them. Nabal's attitude was one of, "Well, I'll just rip this guy until I get everything I want out of him and then kick him for touch." And yet, that's foolish. And that's a sign of a fool. A few days or month later, Nabal had a heart attack and God took him. He died. David ended up marrying Abigail. It's a great story of a man who turned from foolishness and he despised what he once thought that was a good idea, And the demise of a fool, ingratitude. Ingratitude. People, when last did you express gratitude to anybody? When last did you express gratitude for the meals that you eat, for the job that you have, for the privileges that you enjoy sometimes? When last did you say that to somebody with gratitude? Nabal took things for granted. That's what a fool does. So I hope that we will learn from David today about this great intervention of Abigail coming in. And David's response was that of a wise man, although his idea was a foolish one. Think about that in the context of your life. Think about that in the context of the challenges that you go through. Don't react too fast. That's what David's thing was. He said, I'm angry and I'm going to react according to my anger. Wise people don't do that. And fools are ungrateful. Fools are people who take people for granted. If that fits, wear it. Have a good day, people, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.